Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Kay Kritiques, where we discuss all things South African television. And in today's video we are recapping and reviewing Law, Love and Betrayal season 1 episode 7, titled Right of One Having Taken Possession. Now, as you guys already know, we always have our major storyline which takes up the bulk of the episode, which is the case that the team is working on, and we always have our minor storylines. I feel like this episode and the previous episode, which was episode 6, didn't really have too many things going on. We've kind of slowed down a bit. I'm a bit worried about that, but I really am hoping that things do pick up quite soon. But I don't mind the slowdown a bit. Like, let us actually just take a break because a lot is happening. There's so much drama going on. It's a lot. Let us get into this. Our big case for this episode is Mthembu versus Sarah Phiri, which is about a tenant who has not been paying their rent for the past couple of months, and the landlord is intimidating them, inciting violence and pointing a gun at her. This was initially Lozi's case, but Ayanda takes this case and we see the lady was live recording the whole incident. The landlord just wants his money and the lady hasn't paid in 3 months. She has a son who is still young. The husband has died and she's unable to make ends meet. So she has been trying to actually stay a little bit longer, but the landlord sends goons to threaten the tenants. And it's not only Sarah who is having an issue with him, but all the other tenants as well. We find out that Sarah is actually an illegal immigrant. She doesn't even have an ID. That doesn't mean that the landlord just gets to kick her out because she's an illegal, because he didn't even have a court order. He didn't follow the due process. He didn't go about it the legal way, and I feel like he could have won this case if he had done things by the book. And he also pointed a gun at her which wasn't licensed, so he's broken a lot of rules. They take it to court. They find out that Sarah actually stole the landlord's gun. The landlord twists the story because now it's hearsay. It's he said, she said. Nobody knows what happened as soon as that phone turned off. So Sarah says she took the gun to protect herself, but the landlord claims that Sarah actually took the gun and attacked him with it. I won't lie, for somebody who's very, very broke, Sarah is feeling very entitled. Like, you haven't paid rent in 3 months, and I don't even know why she even went to the lawyers. How is she even going to pay G&A? And also, you want to stay in this man's apartment, but you haven't paid rent in 3 months and you're not even making an effort to actually pay off your debt, but you can't afford it. So how are you going to pay in future when you're already 3 months behind on rent? They managed to catch the guy because he was using an unlicensed firearm and he's broken multiple acts. He's broken a lot of laws and he didn't want to go to jail for that. So they settle and he allows her to stay. We see James giving her money and we realize that James is actually a good guy. Like, they won the case, but then he gives her money just enough to get by and pay the 3 months rent that she's behind on. And I was like, that's so sweet. Like, James really does hide his true self. And I've been saying that I want us to delve more into James's character. I think it was episode 1 or 2 where James was babysitting that boy whose mom and dad were getting a divorce, and we saw his softer side come out. And I feel like there is a story there that we haven't tapped into, and I would really love to see us do that. For now, he's being painted as this playboy. He's pompous, he's suave and charming, doing anything to get what he wants. He wants to be senior partner and he'll do any and everything to get to it. He's money hungry, stuff like that. But then you start seeing him going after Gugu when she's at the river. You see him looking after that boy and even giving him a toy. You see this now where he's giving this lady Sarah money. You see it in the little things. When Gugu said, I don't have anything to wear to the party, he actually calls and is like, I need you to deliver something for me. You know, it's those little things that make me feel like maybe James is our misunderstood character, but he's really just the softie on the inside. But then that also leads me to believe, did Ayanda take this case in order to get closer to James? Is she even still fighting for the senior partner position? Or was she just using this case because in the previous episode, Gugu and James were walking hand in hand into the party, and I feel like Ayanda can feel that James is slipping out of his hands and that James's attentions and affections are elsewhere and that they are with Gugu. So did she take on this case with James in order to get closer to him? I wonder. I wouldn't be surprised and I wouldn't be shocked if that was the case. Let's move on to Gugu. My girl has finally moved to Sandton. Gugu is finally living in Sandton, commuting from Tembisa to Sandton every single day using that rattle trap. I wasn't happy with it, and I'm actually glad that she's closer to Sandton now. Things are about to get better, and I feel like this is also going to be a point of contention in the relationship because now they're no longer living in close proximity together with Utabo. So this is going to cause another rift in the relationship, and there's already cracks. So Gugu is now in Sandton. She wakes up and she's late. She's late for work. She's like, Thabo, why didn't you wake me up? And then realizes that Thabo is not there. And the fact that you as an adult woman, now I have to speak on this. As much as I am Team Gugu and I stand my girl, you wake up late as a grown woman and the first thing you want to do is shift the blame to Thabo. Like, Thabo, why didn't you wake me up? Why didn't you help me get prepared for work? It's giving codependent, but at the same time it's also giving I'm not going to take responsibility because you are a grown woman. You should be responsible for your own self. Stuff like that. You don't need Thabo to do that type of stuff for you. Really, girl? So now she lives up the road, but she's still late. She walks late into the meeting. It's also awkward because her and Gatsha haven't really gotten a chance to speak about the revelation and the bombshell that she revealed about Gatsha being her father, right? So as soon as she walks into the meeting is over and Gatsha's like, I want to see you in my office. Fez is still pushing these allegations and is like, listen, Gugu's about to be wife number 3. I'm telling y'all, these two have something going on. They are in a relationship. Something is going on between these two. And obviously Ayanda doesn't take kindly to that, but the rumors are already going. It does look suspicious. Well, obviously us as the viewers know what's going on, but from the outside looking in, it does look suspicious. It does look suspicious, and they have every right to do that. But then for me, it's like, why not just ask? So anyways, Gatsha now is like, I should be giving you a written warning because why are you late? And you can't just now think you can do as you please just because you're claiming you're my daughter. He actually wants to do a paternity test and he digs into Gugu's past. Now Sam is hired to go and dig into Gugu's past. He goes to Gugu's childhood home. I'm gonna need the grandpa to be less friendly with people. Old man, you can't be this trusting. They find out more about Gugu's past. We also find out how the relationship with the mother was. Gugu's mother actually didn't tell Gugu until she was about to die who her father was. I wish there were flashbacks just so that we can see what happened with our own eyes, because the encounter or the recollection of encounters are going to be skewed and biased because they weren't there. And you can't really rely on one person's point of view, especially somebody who wasn't there. But also, Gugu's mother might be leaving out some things that we would want to know. Maybe Gatsha's side of things is different. So, like I said, Gatsha actually wants a paternity test. And Thabo's comment about, yeah, we're about to pop. Oh, you're going to be a Gumede. Oh, this money, that. And I'm like, the passive aggressiveness is going to be their downfall. I've been saying this for how long now? And I said this in the previous episode. We find out that Gugu actually tried calling him. As soon as she found out who he was, she called the office. And as she was trying to explain who she was and what happened, he hung up. In the previous episode, he was saying, oh, you're a stray, you're trying to extort me for money, you're a chancer, why did you come here? You just came here because you're trying to get my money. This is a cash grab and you're now pretending that you are my child. So I'm assuming that this is something that happens regularly in Gatsha's life, where women will come out of the woodworks and claim to have had sex with him and had children with him. Sorry to say, but if you were a one-woman man, then you wouldn't be worrying about all these people coming out of the woodworks. If you were just only engaging with your wife or only seeing your girlfriend or your fiance and being loyal to them, you wouldn't be worrying about any of this. The paternity test results actually come back. Gatsha's like, listen, I don't even need to see these results. You can look at them just to be sure, but I know you are my daughter. So we don't know. Gatsha actually accepts her and says, I know that you're my daughter. I can feel it in my bones. You remind me of me when I was younger. I don't need that piece of paper to tell me that you are my daughter. But I'm like, Gatsha, hold up now. You are a lawyer. You deal with facts. You can't be going off of your gut feeling, because what if you open that envelope and actually find out that Gugu's not your daughter? I need to be sure as the viewer. I need to see what was on that paper. I feel like there's going to be a twist where Gugu is actually not Gatsha's child, because they never opened that envelope. They never saw the results. I feel like that's going to be a cliffhanger. At the end, either at the end of the season, later along the line, it's gonna come back to bite them in the ass that they never actually looked at these paternity test results. Anyways, moving on, we now have an emerging case with a queer teen who has staunch Christian parents, and he is a trans male. He is transitioning and now identifies as a male, and he wants to be emancipated from his parents. He's been staying at this NGO and they are trying to emancipate him so that he can move on with his life and actually start working, earning for himself, living for himself, and also be able to transition without having to ask for the parents' permission. We then find out that Gatsha is homophobic. I didn't see this going on. When Gatsha walked in, he was like, yeah, the parents are right. How could you be doing this? You are a girl and God made you like that. God made them male and female. That is not the plot twist that I expected. I thought Gatsha, being a man who is out there in corporate, always advancing himself as a lawyer, you're always learning about all these different things, that he would be more modern. But that's as far as it goes. We haven't really delved into that. I'm thinking we're gonna delve deeper into that in the next few episodes. Gugu, having moved to Sandton, she's staying in the office and working a bit late. James is like, why are you still here? Are you leaving? How are you gonna get to Tembisa? And Gugu's like, well, I live up the road now, so I don't really have to worry about that. I've moved into my apartment in Sandton. James is now flirting, and I will say this every single time until these two get together. Their chemistry is insane, and I knew it was gonna happen. I knew this from episode 1. I knew that they were gonna start flirting, and Gugu's starting to slowly but surely fall for it. I'm going to say this now in episode 7. Gugu might be using James as an out in her current relationship with Utab. I'm saying this now in episode 7 so that when it eventually happens, I can call back to this and say I called it. Anyways, James wants to drop Gugu off and they go, and he gives her the old dirty man. The whole, oh, if I was the man in your life, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. Oh man, you don't have a man in your life who could be doing this for you. Oh, doesn't your boyfriend do this for you? Is he not satisfying you? The good old dirty Mac, alright? And I just feel like something is gonna go on between these two. But yeah, guys, that was Law, Love and Betrayal, season 1, episode 7. Honestly, this episode wasn't that eventful, but I like that. I feel like we're slowing down, but also at the same time, I wanted to pick up as much as a lot was going on, but nothing really was going on that was driving the story forward. I really do hope that you guys also enjoyed it too. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video. It really does help out with the algorithm. And I will see you guys in the next one.